how each team pivots. BLG not caring about the Lucian last time around. They will now be on blue side. And some of the bans going to change, because with BLG being on blue side, they don't have to ban out the Gwen like they did in Game 1. Still will keep the same other two bans, though. So no Talia able to go over for Duenby, and also making sure Tarzan doesn't get his hands on his staple Lee Sin.
Yeah, absolutely cannot give that champion over to him. But now BLG find themselves on the blue side. They should be able to get themselves some power picks. You would imagine the Wukong might be finding its way through these picks and bans as we wait to see where both of these teams end up going. But for the moment, the Talia, the Lee Sin, the Gwen, and the Lucian all banned away. The Fiora being banned away here from Ala. Again, very, very good pick for him. He was known for this champion back when he was on DMO as naturals. So this is something that they're saying, look, we want to try and maybe get Bin another carry. We want to give this one another go.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they go for off it, because, right, I mean, you wouldn't expect like an early first pick Camille or anything along those lines. So I guess just thinking, hey, we have a free ban and wanting to take away something they know he's proficient on, and does still open them up to go for those standard picks. But with what's banned, right, the Wukong first pick is going to come through. Now for LNG, obviously the Kalista has been an extremely high priority, so wouldn't be too surprised if LNG did want to go towards that one. Jungle, the Viego, still being the other standout left open. Feels like it would also be a safe route for LNG.
Well, they can just get the other side of this matchup as, again, they do get the trade-off of the Wukong for the Viego, excuse me, and of course the Ezreal being brought in as well. So, Light moving away from the hyper-aggressive Lucian, now going for more of a scaling pick, and again, this is totally fine. I think Light during the regular season and spring was having some fairly decent performances on things like the Zeri and of course the Jinx and the Aphelios, so he has been a staple AD carry in the league for a couple of splits now, and has really kind of cemented himself as someone who can be relied upon for that late game damage.
I mean, Doggo was, Light was definitely a player who, like we said, we expected to see put more on a kind of scaling role, playing more for team fights, not really being the one who's given agency and has to play aggressive like we saw in Game 1. So this definitely fits more of what we expected to see come out from LNG in the split. And BLG now making their way towards that Kalista pick, so again, extremely high priority right now, doing better in these longer sustained fights, being able to get more spears down, get stronger Rens off, and then rounding it out with a nice gangplank for Bin up in topside. One of the picks that he was having great performances on over at MSI.
Yeah, really did have a fantastic performance or two on MSI with that particular pick. And now for LNG, they've got an option available to them. They can go with this Karma, can secure themselves an incredibly powerful and potent bot side. But that does mean you will be able to ban away some of the big top lane picks. So I would not be surprised to see more top lane bans going up towards on the side of BLG, where they try and just get Bin these very, safe matchups.
Yeah, and I wonder what they're gonna look to take away from Ala. You still have like numerous safe picks open, things like the Gnar. You can go with things like the Camille, look for all-ins. We obviously have things like Vladimir over at MSI and has been picked once here in the LPL so far. I'm more curious about to see how the bot lane fares, because LNG are going to start banning out some tank supports, right? But it feels like BLG have like enough options left to where it's like, okay, there's Nautilus taken away now. Things like the Leona, which haven't seen as much play and haven't been one of the champions that feel like it's really benefit from the durability patch. Rakan, like, you just have so many things you can pair with this Kalista. If Light and I wanted to misstep once, I mean, the Karma is just going to go down. You aren't going to find that priority. And then in the 5v5s, BLG are just going to be so strong having frontliners.
And the big thing as well is that with the Gangplank, and yes, you do have the engage of the Wukong, but you would like just another tanky engager, possibly someone with a big engage. Wukong does fit that bill. I was thinking more Leona, so we might see the Leona coming out here for BLG for Crisp. It has been something that he is been known for in the past. Of course, the Renata has been almost a permaban against him in the last few, honestly, splits, because he has just been, as soon as that champion came out, he became known as the Renata player. And finally, we do get the Lissandra ban coming out here for BLG. So now, for LNG, you would imagine you go top lane here and leave your mid lane for counter. Give something to Duenby that he can go into a matchup very comfortably, because again, he was exceptional against Fofo in that game 1. Would love to see him maybe try to do something similar in game 2. And Sion back for Ala, trying to play this weak side, try to change who he is as a top laner.
Yeah, really interesting to see LNG picking for team comp and not necessarily looking for any sort of lane counter pick like you would expect Ala to want to go towards, right? Because they themselves, having Viego and having Karma, wouldn't have a frontliner, wouldn't have any engage, wouldn't have someone who could face check into the enemy jungle or into river if you're looking to contest for these dragon fights. But for BLG now, I'm curious to see if they go for this, right? Because typically we were hitting on the Leona, but things like that would just get absolutely mauled by Karma Ezreal in lane. Not having something like a Nautilus hook or some like real long range engage to be able to get on your target would make your life hell. You would be waiting for the level 6 spark for Kalista to throw you in, but the Thresh is going to be able to do a lot. Now picking up the LeBlanc as well. We need to remember for Thresh, you don't gain armor per level, so he's one of the champions who's also kind of taken a hit with the durability update. The amount on his souls was readjusted to compensate, but doesn't really feel like it did enough to bring him in. But with the style they're going for in the bottom lane, they are going to have the Kalista Thresh lane as well as a LeBlanc. So BLG keeping up with the aggression machine.
Yeah, trying to keep it up, trying to keep going with something that can work. And again, don't fix what's not broken. Looks like a very similar kind of style of composition. You've got an Enchanter in the bot side. You have a full kind of front line with the Viego and the Scion. And if they don't jump onto Doonby on the same time, same way they didn't jump at him in game 1, you got to feel like it's just going to be so difficult for them to be able to try and take him down. So LNG just kind of going back to creature comforts in this particular one, considering how well game 1 went.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? Because BLG not really caring about, you know, the extra 70 health, the more health armored magic resist per level coming in. Still going with an assassin in the mid lane. Still picking very aggressive lanes that honestly want to skirmish early. We want to see BLG fighting for first Rift Herald, fighting for these early dragons, and just comboing with their strong 5v5 before we get to a similar mid game where LNG can take over like in game 1.
Absolutely. For BLG, it's all about getting that kind of snowball effect, getting those like odd numbered skirmishes, using that gangplank ult to your advantage and making it so that you have got the advantage in certain things. Maybe a 3v2 or even a 2v2 when you know you have the level 6 for the gangplank and you're able to get that kind of barrage down. So for BLG, I want to see a bit more proactivity. I don't want to see them resting on their laurels. Yes, they've got decent late game, but it's not where their advantages lie.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's kind of an interesting read coming out from LNG. I mean, definitely all indexing and all-inning on like the scaling aspect of the meta, right? Again, utilizing I wanted to use someone who can play enchanters, but yeah, it's just kind of like a flip of the script for where LNG early on in spring, it was all about the aggression coming out from Tarzan and Doonbean. Heck, you even think that was a meta with Corki, with Victor, with these types of champions, but they were still willing to scrap early. Now, kind of readapting, reassessing, going more for what they think works for them. And I mean, heck, even if it is just playing off some enemy mistakes early in the split, anything to find wins over teams that are expected to be in playoffs, I think is very critical.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like I said, LNG were the 4th place team in spring. BLG were the 7th or even I think it was 8th best team in the league at the time. So this is the difference. These are again, you only get one opportunity against these teams. You have to try and make the most of it. And again, no one wants to start off with a loss. You always want to try and start your campaign as positively as possible. And right now, BLG, they got to dig deep. They got to look and show that they're not just this one-trick pony that this team can, you know, kind of keep. They're kind of gatekeepers almost. That they beat everyone below them, but they're never going to be able to try and, you know, play with the big boys. And this is a good opportunity for them to really bounce back and step up to where we feel that they can be.
I mean, it feels like LNG always start the split strong, right? It's like the LNG way. Start the split strong, pick up a bunch of wins, and then in the mid-game, in the middle of the split, start to get figured out, start to have some issues that teams take advantage of. So hopefully it's not the same for LNG this time around. Again, both of these rosters, like you look on paper, can justifiably like represent LPL at Worlds. That's not saying too much because you have a lot of rosters in LPL that on paper are absolutely stacked. And now, heck, you're even competing with up-and-coming rosters like Ultra Prime, as we saw earlier today, of like, hey, maybe these guys are going to be a force to be reckoned with. That will be hard to deal with later on. So I think from game 1, we saw BLG and LNG both have issues coming into the split. I mean, I think it's to be expected coming into the split. So hopefully game 2, we see more from one of them. Yeah. There it is, Asheen. Give me a dominant stomp from one of them. I don't care. I'm not biased. V5's not on the rift. Just pick one and give me one.
I like how you are just like V5 no matter what. It was Mole, but
and
now
Mole.
it's just
well, it's both. It's both. It's V5 and Mole. And if V5 goes against Mole, it's Mole. So, you know.
Ooh, so there is a hierarchy as such of who you would actually prefer.
If IG goes against V5, it's not IG because Mole might not be playing. It's just if Mole's playing.
That's true. It's nothing to do with the team he's playing on. It's just the person who he is and how he's playing as such. But we do apologize for the delay. Of course, we do We'll keep you updated. I imagine usually when there's a delay like this, there is a issue with Champ Select, but
there it is, Ashin. We got it. Game loading problem. We're remaking Champ Select with the same band picks.
Yes, you are. You got the same message that I did. So we're going to have to try and obviously wait until that happens. We will obviously keep you guys updated. Hopefully it will not take too much longer, but I wanted to try and hit on the fact that you mentioned LNG being like an early split kind of team and then they get developed or people develop ways of beating them. They have got a pretty decent start to the split. You look at some of the games they play. They play BLG today, which they are looking comfortable against. Then it's Anyone's Legend, maybe a bit more of a curveball. TT, OMG. Then it's Top Esports, who again, very shaky in the early stages of the game. Then it's LGD and IG. So they're not actually facing any of what we would call playoff caliber teams. So very later on in the split.
Yeah, so they have time to do what they've now done twice. I just double checked. I thought this was the case. 2021 summer and then spring, they went 7-0. They went 7-0 both times. So all you're saying to me is they'll probably do the same thing again. And then just hopefully this time we're not met with disappointment.
I was going to say, like, they could literally go 7-0 because, like, I could definitely see them beating Top Esports and everyone else I've just listed off. And then their 8th game is JDG. So there's another team that I'm like, yeah, they could probably lose that. So they could go 7-0 and then immediately spiral into a losing streak against, like, RNG, V5, EDG. It's actually, it's insane to see, like, you know, how schedule affects. And at the end of it also doesn't affect absolutely anything. Because, again, we have to play everybody at every point. So it doesn't make that big of a difference. But yeah, and for BLG as well, like, again, like a very middling team last split. It was again very hype when Uzi came in, but then
it was hype when you saw the roster, but it wasn't hype once we like got some games under our belt. It was never like the way BLG won games was never very spectacular, right? It always felt a bit messy. It always felt a bit flippy. Doggo especially was super hit or miss. It didn't work out with Uzi. It was just
It was just kind of.
It was meh. I know. I agree with that. It was just you know.
It was
the
just kind of.
The people know what we mean.
They know what's up. Yeah, they did the longest average game time. I think it was like 33 minutes or something like that, which was I think it was like a full minute or something like that to the next longest game time or average game time. So they aren't a team. Again, I think it's one of those things where it's like you always said the sum is greater than the separate parts or whatever. What's the way you say that saying? I can't remember exactly how it's said, but basically they're like the opposite of that. It's like if I look at all these people individually, I'm like, yes, they're great individually, but I try to put them together, it's like the less than the sum of their parts. It just doesn't really work out for the side of BLG. I wanted to. I'm really hopeful because I do find that, like, you know, people like Crisp and of course Bin now on the roster have had very high highs, and I would love to continue that trend of winning championships, but you know, sometimes it doesn't
thank God,
work.
Caster, stop talking. Start game, Caster. Why are you doing this?
What are you on Twitch chat? Get off Twitch chat. Get off Twitch chat.
I am Twitch chat, Asheen. I don't need to have it open. I am Twitch chat.
I knew it, but we are jumping onto the Rift. And again, curious to see now where these teams can go. I think a lot of pressure's on Bin as he's it's the FBX skin, is it? Is it the Gimgoon skin?
Yeah, I'm so bad with skins. Like, who uses skins? Faker doesn't use skins, so why would you use skins?
Yeah, and he's like the second best team in the world. Like, why would you not?
Don't take that shot. Don't take that shot.
You set me up with an absolute zinger to home run. I'm gonna hit that.
In this domain, when I am on cast, we respect the LCK. So you know what?
We are in LPL, and we are with our boys, and it's our church, our choir.
No. We respect. You know what we also respect is LNG coming out in this draft. See that pivot machine? Did you see it?
I was gonna say, beautiful
coming out
segue.
Beautiful segue. This level one. Does Olive find it? Does Chris walk too far forward?
I don't know, but maybe Doggo does.
They
this
will.
Is beautiful.
They're gonna catch them.
Beautiful. And this would set back this bot lane, which is exactly what you want to be doing as LNG. This is going to be so desperate if they get this done. It's going to be awful. Let's wait to see now what they end up winning or losing. As we can see now, they're going to come into this. They actually dodge him out. No! He gets caught out with the last little tick of it. He will not get himself over the wall. He's not going to bother with the flash. TP back to top lane. Beautiful level 1.
That was pure cheese, and I loved every second of it. LNG coming out with the strats, find the kill, use the TP. They're confident that Ala will be fine in this landing phase anyway. Bin, will be able to poke him out and out-trade him a little bit, get the gold from the first strike coming through, so is also just playing for more scaling coming in. But man, that's got to feel good. Would be nice if Light was the one who got the kill, but still, regardless, just LNG's bot lane getting that kill, very nice for them, and good start. Good start coming out for Light. Iwandi even backing and picking up some boots.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic way to start the game here for LNG. And again, I will say it is a bit unfortunate for BLG, but they didn't lose any summoners as such on the bot side. They didn't lose heals or flashes. They didn't commit or over commit to try and make sure that they were getting something or, you know, not losing as much. And at the end of it all, that will still be a thorn in them, but it's not going to be the worst thing in the world.
Right, I mean, it still means if you come to, let's say, level 3, both of you are even, which could be hard because Doggo right now only level 1. I don't know how much like experience is sitting in front of him right now, but theoretically, you're both equal in levels. You find an all-in, you still have the damage to be able to put out if they haven't been able to chunk you down low with their poke. So opportunities will still be there, but Light finding a nice experience advantage is now we can see the wave coming through. So we'll be able to consistently get that poke down, but Iwandi being the one to lose out. Light got further ahead in experience because Iwandi backed, so Iwandi is the one who is more even to Doggo.
Well, Weiwei will find Tarzan on the bot side of the map, but recognizes that he is much stronger in this particular situation, so Tarzan just backs away, respects him as much as he possibly can, and we will see now Tarzan making a move towards this bot side as this wave hasn't really crashed yet. Just we see a hook coming out. They are going to put down a decent amount of damage here onto Crisp, and already we're seeing the stuns and everything coming out. And again, LNG being very, very aggressive towards this bot lane. They recognize that the Kalista, yes, is a fantastic lane, but if you put it so far behind that it's irrelevant, it becomes a useless pick.
Yeah, and LNG, right? I feel like they initially brought Tarzan down just to cover to make sure they can get that wave in because Doggo was holding a bit of a freeze and they were just zoning them off with the threat of Crisp's hook, but still not even able to ultimately get this one in. And I wanted taking a huge bit of chunk damage trying to bait that one out. Can BLG find the engage? No,
they cannot. Sadly, another ward. The power of getting Iwandi that first kill not only was boots, but it was also a pink ward. So able to put that one down, keep himself nice and safe. And this freeze isn't going to be changing anytime soon. We'll see a little bit of a CS advantage going over to the Doggo. And again, BLG, they need to make sure that they're gaining these kind of advantages. If they can keep the XP in their lead, again, similar to Game 1 where they got that XP lead and they were able to get level 6 before the bot lane of LNG, it could go pretty damn well for them.
Yeah, and I'm really interested I'll pause. Bin might have to burn a flash.
He's going to hold it for just a second. Doesn't have the orange just yet and will flash away. Ala will try and make something work here and then realize he can't really do it. But summoner for summoner at the end of it in top lane.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they were really on the same page too much because I feel like if you want to commit flash as Ala, there's no way you're finding that kill there unless Tarzan commits his flash as well. Then they could have been able to finish off that kill, but Tarzan already starting to back up once Ala does come in with his flash. So kind of just blowing it for nothing. And Ala not having TP means potentially Bin can force in this wave and at least deny him a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see Weiwei now recognizing that he's in a position to steal away some of these camps that we've seen him do so often so far this series. And Double Sheen picked up here for the top side of the BLG top side jungle as they get themselves set up for maybe something going from here. Big wave being pushed in here, though, by the side of BLG means they will have freedom for Fofo to try and maybe move around. He might even hit 6 off of this.
Yeah, and for the mid lane matchup, right, I mean, Duinby's just had a smooth time sailing so far, and again, a lot of it coming into just the potency, like losing potency in terms of those all-ins able to come through, being able to 100-0 someone from the durability update. So right now, he's just chilling. Will lose prio to Fofo, as Crisp is just hovering around mid. And again, this is a lot more of the early game I wanted to see from BLG, just transferring more pressure from lane to lane, interacting more with each other on the map, because that was something it really didn't feel like we had in spring when BLG would be able to find some early game lane leads and then not do anything with them.
See already Duinby just trying to cover himself in this mid lane, trying to get as many minions as possible. Honestly, he ended up picking up almost all of them, to be perfectly honest. The Gangplank ultimate is used in the top lane. I can confirm that is the FBX Gangplank skin being used there for Bin, but now we'll see now with the bot side, both junglers available and ready. Both teams have all summoners except for the flash for Light. There's a good hook coming in. They're going to use the lantern straight away as Iwandi needs to try and back away. He has not got the position to be able to keep himself alive as Tarzan now and Light forced to get themselves out of dodge. Doggo trying to go forward with those Ren stacks. Doing a hell of a lot of damage, and that's the power of the Kalista. Once you start moving forward, it's very difficult to move away.
Yeah, really nice from BLG to take advantage of the window. I mean, knowing that they're stronger in terms of the 3v3 if they find the all-in, the poke really not coming out, getting Chris or Doggo Lober for the engage. BLG won't be able to transition it into anything like a dragon because Rift Herald will be coming up in 40 seconds. There is the Rift Scuttler up there right now, so looks like they want to take that one away. And Fofo trying to guarantee himself some prio in mid to make sure he can follow up on any movement if anything goes down in topside river.
Have a look at the replay here again. And again, this is just good proactive play coming out from BLG. What we wanted to see for them, and especially considering they have that Kalista in the bot side, they need to get her going.
Yeah, and just beautiful hook coming out from Chris to land, and the burst able to follow up. Again, they weren't chunked out low from any poke. They're just able to land the engage. LNG were thinking of trying to bait a 3v3 themselves, but with Iwandi so far away from Tarzan, no one really able to follow up and try and save him before he just gets bursted out.
Well, we'll see Chris finding no hook, but we'll see that the reset did come in there for light. So using that information, we'll see where they want to go with it now. As we can see, the Rift Herald has been started by the side of LNG. Bin is here, and Weiwei is not too far away, but no LeBlanc means no real way of contesting this in a 3v3. So that's going to be the Rift Herald going over to the side of LNG.
Yeah, you know, that started off with Chris not finding the hook. You know what he did find, Dasheen? You know what he found?
Friendship.
He
friends
found
he made along the
friendship,
way.
exactly.
It's like the power of anime and God. It's just like, and friendship.
And now he's finding blue buff. So, you know, I got to be honest. This play from BLG, really nice. He's stealing away jungle, getting vision down early. But I have been failing to readjust my sleep schedule to LPL broadcast time. I haven't made it this far yet.
Dear.
I've missed the last game every day, but here we are now, champing through. But that's why it's about the friends we made along the way, just so you know.
I'm standing here with you to help you through your endeavor. I don't even know how to say this. I don't know how I'm going to keep you away. What if I just scream really randomly every now and again just to make sure
Then
you're like
people
constantly
watching
going.
will hate you, so therefore I will look good by comparison. So do whatever you please.
If you have to tear others down to make yourself look good, I won't be involved. All right, I'm gonna say it right now. I don't want to be part of that.
I wasn't gonna tear others down. I was gonna have you tear yourself down. Very different. But
and you weren't gonna help me to not do that. Oh,
no,
so rude.
I was gonna encourage it, but you know, I am still at least here enough to be like, yo, guess what? BLG took the dragon. That's pretty sick. And Tarzan, going for a big gank machine. Just walking into the brush. Q coming out from Ala. Does it happen?
No, it doesn't, because he's sitting on a ward, sadly. So nothing to happen. I like sleep deprived lyric. That's my favorite lyric right now. You get like this. I've seen you a couple of times like this, where it's just like you just lose all comprehension of what you're doing and where you're going, and it's just like, let's go for it.
Sleep deprived Kobe is the best though. At MSI
Oh, really?
Worlds, he is crazy. He's literally insane. I remember him having to cast with no sleep. It was phenomenal. But look, we might get a dive. We might get a dive on this patch. It's cool, but LNG's bot lane is going to back off, so actually just going to be plays for the side of BLG.
Yeah, and I like it from BLG. You know, they recognized that Tarzan was in the top lane. They had full knowledge of exactly what he was trying to do, so they could move down their jungler and mid laner, get themselves in a position for maybe going for something should anyone on the side of LNG overstep. But it wasn't to be, and we are starting to see small little leads being eked out here from the side of BLG. About 20 CS or so on the top side, about 10 or so in the mid lane, about 5 or 6 in the bot lane. So it is still the lane dominance that we expected to see, but now we're going to see a hook coming out, beautifully caught out there as they jump onto light. The exhaust is going to be enough. Excuse me, not the exhaust. The ignite may not be enough as Crisp is now taking a bad trade, but they have the Gangplank ultimate to trade it back. And that's exactly what you want to be seeing, but with the ultimate, or excuse me, the package available here for Doonby, he's going to go straight under tower, try catch out Chris, but Chris, with his final wish, puts down a death sentence, and that's exactly what it is. 2 for 1 in the trade.
Crisp taking down his former teammate. My God, man, Crisp and Doggo are just on point so far in this series. I mean, no matter how BLG did in the previous split, Crisp always heralded as one of the top supports in the league. And we see it here once again. Being cheeky, waiting in the brush. Beautiful hook to connect onto Iwandi. Follows through, holds the play for once the dash comes through. And then able to follow through with the damage coming out from Doggo. They get the turret. This looks very sketchy coming out from LNG, but they're hoping they could make it work. And Chris, once again, having the hook come up off cooldown buys enough time for Doggo to be able to finish off Doinb as well. And again, I just want to keep praising Crisp. My God, Crisp, you're awesome.
He really is, and all the kills we've seen so far are either on the Karma or on the Kalista, and I know who I would prefer to have those kills, so now Light in a little bit of a predicament right now, as we can see Doggo with a pretty sizable lead, almost 2,000 gold, and he's just going to have full reign of this. They can't contest him on this, and this is going swimmingly for BLG. There's the Hex Flash over the wall. Another great hook to land onto the Karma. There's going to be the Flays. They get him back underneath the tower, and they can't even go for this. You said you didn't want to see dives, but you can't defend yourself if you're not underneath your tower.
Yeah, no, Iwandi also going to be doomed as well. This is going to set up for BLG to be able to take this turret. And LNG with no answers on the opposite side of the map. Even look at Ben. He's going to search for Tarzan, knowing that there's no ways on the bottom side of the map.
I mean, this is a 5-0 full turret plate Kalista. As we can see now, Ben in a lot of trouble. Will be CC down, flash in after using the orange. The Rift Herald will be used in the mid lane to try and get some economy back into this game, but it's already about a 4,500 gold lead in favor of BLG, and LNG is a little bit of a deeper hole they find themselves in compared to game one, and it's BLG being the proactive ones.
Yeah, I think BLG definitely have more wiggle room in terms of mistakes that they can make. Still don't want to make too many because the scaling on the opposite side is immense for a front-to-back 5v5 team fight. I do feel like me and you jinxed this one a little bit because the people wouldn't know, but during the break we're like, look, we're going to get 4 games today.
Yeah.
We haven't had 4 games yet. Every day there's been a 3-game series. Haha, let's go, LNG.
Well, I thought it was a trend because it was like 6 day 1, 5 day 2, and I was like 4 day 3. That makes sense, but no, it's not even.
Can it be a trend when it can't go down any less than that though?
Well,
like
see,
what would it do tomorrow?
Well, see, I didn't think about tomorrow.
A series is canceled.
Yeah, that's what I thought was that you'd end up getting like day 3, 2, 1. So you'd have 6, 4, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's how I viewed it.
No, I've actually got it. So tomorrow a series is canceled. 1 series goes 3 games. The next day a series is canceled. We get a 2-0 stomp. And the following day a series is canceled. 1 game happens. The enemy team forfeits. There we go.
I like that timeline mainly because it's so unprecedented that I don't know if it would ever happen. Like teams have literal like massive amounts of LDL subs to be able to bring them in. I don't see how a team would ever get their match forfeited or canceled or anything like that. But been wrong before, been wrong many times in my career. And we're going to see now a second dragon being started up here by BLG as Tarzan. I gotta say, he hasn't had the same impact that we expected to see from him, and he's honestly been a bit muted so far in this early game. He's really had to try and help out Ala in the top side. And apart from that 1 kill in the bot lane right at the start of the game, hasn't really been a lot to talk about from LNG as a proactive point of view.
I mean, it's really hard, right, when you look at these lanes. Like, you don't have too much you can do in top. I think especially pre-6, like, Bin would have to be very much overextended like we saw, and then you're only able to find that flash. For mid, there isn't really anything you could do. Is my God, Fofo and Chris, that was huge!
That was just...
Oh, wow!
Again, Iwandi just holding onto his flash way too long, not respecting the damage and the CC that can come down, and now you have full reign. Crisp cannot miss a hook! It is not possible for him to do it! He's able to get himself out. Fofo, though, will die, and now it's going to be Doggo trying to just put down these spears into this Zion. Remember, it's a surprising amount of Ren burst as he goes down to just above a third of his HP, but God damn, Crisp!
Yeah, I mean, again, give this guy a medal. It is insane. It is so fun to watch. Fofo does go down in the end, and he was the one to set up the kill. So, again, kudos to him. But I think the key thing, during that whole time, BLG were picking up a Rift Herald. So getting another objective on top of that, they should very easily be able to break down mid. They shouldn't even need Rift Herald for that. Just commit, more numbers to mid lane. Have someone maybe show on bot or just head straight to mid. Take that one. But we'll see this here. Beautiful hook coming out from Crisp. I'm surprised we're seeing the second part of this fight and not the pick that led this to being cool. As Fofo actually... So the replay guy actually just wanted to BM Fofo. That's what we got.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. Sometimes you got to BM a player. That's just how it is. But now you're looking at nearly a half item Kalista. against Ezreal's secondhand shop. That's what it is. Like, he has no full item yet. He hasn't got a Manamune. He hasn't got himself up towards his Triforce. He's just not in a position to be able to fight this. And this is just becoming so difficult. This is the power of the Kalista. If some people are wondering, why would you go for this? Why would you go for this pick? This is why, because it can just scale and just snowball so out of control. There's just not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah, and again, I feel like this is why we will and have predominantly seen engaged support. Spin might be caught out. Is very caught out.
He's very caught out. They need to give this over to a carry, and I think that carry is Viego. It was actually, so yeah, I was going to say, it was supposed to be light on this Ezreal, but it's not going to be happening. But you get 1 kill, but that's going to lead to 2, if not 3 turrets going over the side of BLG. Yes, you gain that one little bit of pressure on the map, but you're not going to be able to convert it into anything, and this is just becoming harder and harder for the side of LNG. BLG are just controlling the map, but with the package available to them, they might try and look for a fight, but again, not really in a position to go for it because they don't have vision control.
Look, I don't want to use the phrase that this is over, but...
And you're sad, you know what? You keep that trend.
I was gonna say, just because I don't want to use it. But, I mean, right, for LNG, we have seen, like, bigger throws happen. Heck, look at top esports in playoffs. Definitely not impossible for LNG to win this game. They still will have huge damage later on. The big problem is, like you hit on, the item disparity right now. Doggo is so big, having that 2.5 item lead. I mean, Light right now only sitting on the Triforce. Fofo is up in terms of items as well, having a needlessly large rod sitting in his inventory. And you just have so much map pressure with all 3 outer turrets being down. Top lane inner's gone as well. So there's just so much area for you to take vision control and start setting up these picks. We'll definitely be towards bot side right now because there's 1 minute until Dragon. But yeah, LNG really don't have any choices, Ashin. They are at the whims of the Bilibili gods.
I mean, it feels like for BLG, like, Doggo has about a Triforce in the difference between himself and Light, so it's the bit of an issue. But if you can hold off, if you can just stop the bleeding, stem the cuts and the severed limbs, you may be in a position to be able to try and fight this one back. Like you mentioned earlier, the Corki and Ezreal, immense scaling. This Sion will get to the point of unkillable. There's not really a single person in the late game who can take him out, so right now, it is just a turtling setup right now for LNG. They need to be able to try and just keep themselves calm and most importantly, keep themselves safe.
Yeah, the hard thing for them is the fact that this game will be a very early soul, right? It's going to be like 25-minute soul coming through that they will have to fight over. So sure, they can try and play opposite side of the map like we're seeing right now, them trying to get gold onto their Corki. Has been very bold with this play, because Chris was waiting in the wings, but still, yeah, I mean, for BLG now, who cares? Go towards Dragon, take that, and in 4 minutes, LNG are going to have to fight you because it's an Infernal Soul.
Yeah, you're going to have to be fighting, and this is a great soul if you want to try and snowball the game out of control, and this is just going to become harder and harder. It's a 5,000 gold lead. You do have a couple of objective bounties which were picked up, so it has given decent gold back over to some of the carries of LNG, but it does feel like right now it is going to need a big mistake from BLG, and honestly, I think if you're an LNG fan, you're looking for the inactivity to come back from BLG to try and maybe stop them from completely taking over this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see if BLG go for some kind of like player on Baron, considering they have 4.5 minutes up and they are incredibly strong. I think that would be a little bit of a mistake, considering that you're then opening yourself up to like Poke coming out from Corki rockets, and then Light able to throw Mystic shots over the wall. But for BLG, I feel like the course of action should be getting vision up in topside jungle, trying to play for those picks, and be willing to take it slow for the next 4 minutes and just wait out that Dragon. But I did see some pings come out around Baron, so we will find out.
We will indeed, and I will say you are coming up to a pretty decent spike right now for Light and Doomby. Both will have their Mana Munes fully stacked into Muramanas if they can get them reset. As you can see, Light just going to do that right now, so it is going to be significant damage despite how far behind this mid and bot lane are of LNG. And for BLG, it's all about making sure that they don't throw this one away. 3-item Kalista at this point in the game is going to be so much more significantly scary than a 2-item Ezreal, so you just have to play your map smart. Play your game correctly, and you should, quote unquote, be able to try and just, you know, equal out this game. But a decent amount of poke from the side of LNG should be decent, should be scary enough for BLG.
I could summarize what you just said in 3 words: inspiration,
caught.
motivation, team.
I thought you were going to say violent speed momentum, and I was like, yeah!
Wait, what?
What? You never heard of violent speed momentum?
No.
It's Dr. Disrespect. It's like violence, speed, momentum.
Maybe I lied. Maybe I'm not Twitch chat if I don't know
Yeah.
that.
Well, no, he's, yeah. Well, maybe you are
Yeah.
Twitch chat.
Yeah. Okay, let's move forward. Let's move forward. So, hey, BLG in the enemy jungle, getting the vision down, trying to look for these picks like we talked about. But sadly, their AD carry is picking up Raptors right now. So wouldn't actually be able to take advantage of that too much. LNG still turtling like we expected, but ooh, does BLG maybe find a pick?
Gonna look for something here now as Weiwei trying to jump on top of Ale, but again, he's the tanky member. The hook will actually not land, and they've committed quite a bit of ultimates available here, and this isn't exactly the best situation for BLG, and it's gonna stall them out just a little bit more.
Yeah, so not gonna be able to find it, but hey, again, they will still have that 2-minute timer. Like, I really don't feel like it's gonna get too much worse for BLG. LNG getting this bit more time to get a bit of gold under the belts, right? You're not going to see like any more full items come out for the side of LNG, I'd expect. Should just be able to get some components and maybe bring out that fight. But again, LNG's composition plays out very similarly to last game, where you want the enemy right in front of you. If BLG gets set up first, which they should since they have priority, and they are able to get deep vision, they are able to come off through, let's say, bot lane or flanks in your jungle, that's where LNG's life gets very, very difficult in terms of the next fight.
Yeah, it gets very, very difficult indeed. And we will see now 2 items onto the Scion and onto the jungler of Tarzan. So you are getting to significant amounts of tankiness, and this is going to be very much a game of who can get their abilities off, who can get the poke. If you can get decent poke off with the Corki and the Ezreal before a fight breaks out, that could be huge for LNG. You are still 5,000 gold behind, but it's not super far behind that you're not going to be, you know, kind of relevant in a fight. And with a minute till Dragon spawns, we are going to have no flash on Ala, but apart from that, everyone else is looking pretty healthy.
Yeah. Another thing you can hope for is just, you know, if Doggo makes a mistake, right? Doggo's really the only member that needs to go down to where you now have a winnable fight for the side of LNG. Everyone else is in the same item range as you, similar amounts of gold. Like, sure, they have more because they have, like, more objectives, but some of LNG's champions function with less gold, right? Sion being an obvious example who, I mean, has some tank items, can get his job done. So we're really going to be keeping our eyes on Doggo. If Doggo can survive, BLG will just outright win the fight. If not, if LNG can find a way on top of him or can layer that poke on the front line, then there is hope.
Here we go. Doonby going to be picking up the package. 25 seconds till the dragon spawns.
Hey, Ashin, this is the game-defining fight. I need some more. Here we go! Here we go, Ashin!
First of all, it's about building suspense, all right? You wouldn't get that as a color caster. You wouldn't get it. But here we go. We're going to see if they can go for this one. They're going to try and jump on the Doonby. He's forced to use the package early. Ala taking down about half HP as Ian and Bin are just kind of fighting it out, duking it out. But now you've lost that big engage. And that is why you don't hype it up too much.
That is... wait, maybe.
Chris. There's going to be Chris landing the hook. His life going to get caught out as Doggo and Chris jump on top of him, and he is dead. There's going to be the Viego falling as well, and BLG completely wiped the floor with LNG. They went for the Hail Mary, but unfortunately there was nobody downfield, and it's just an interception. It's going to be a 5-0, a triple kill for Doggo, and that's going to bring us to a game 3.
The gold lead was just too much for LNG to contend with. They won't be able to end off these death timers, but they are going to get Inferno Soul. They are going to pick up a Baron. And now, I mean, this game is just on the clock, waiting for BLG to be able to finish.
And this is going to be a slow but very methodical way to the finish line. They get the Dragon Soul, they get themselves the Baron, they get everything they could have wanted and more. I'm curious with the amount of Rens in there. Oh, we're not going to see it. But anyway, let's have a look at the replay, because again, this is just LNG saying we have to go for something, and then Chris, with the heat-seeking hooks, sets it all up.
Yeah, and again, the thing is, can you get on top of Doggo as LNG, or can you layer the poke first? They didn't. They just tried to go for the engage. Chris finds the hook, and we saw Doggo just dancing around the team fight. Ala tries to get out in the end, but there is too much burst there. And in the end, BLG come out with the team fight win. I also need to apologize to you, because you're right. If you had come in too excited, there would have been that awkward pause in the middle. I clearly don't know how to do your job.
It's okay. I don't know how to do yours either. So together, we can just be ignorant of each other's work.
Let's go!
But coming back into the game again, 11,000 gold lead, Infernal Soul, Baron buff. There's just, again, I'm not saying it's done, but it's pretty much done unless BLG decide to randomly go for it.
Just say it.
No, you say it. No, you say it.
Okay, I'll say it. It's done.
Okay.
It's done.
Can't wait for
BLG cannot lose.
You're gonna have
BLG cannot lose this game. They have a 12,000 gold lead. They have Infernal Soul. Like, it would honestly have to be some spectacular amounts of running it down for BLG to lose this.
How big this egg is going to be on your face if they lose now. It's just like the biggest egg you've ever seen.
4 items on Doggo's Callista. You don't really have a great way.
Gangplank.
Yeah, you don't really have a great way of getting to the Callista either, right? Because LNG want to kite back. They want to poke you out. Like, sure, Allah can go in, but you're going to be running into, like, Weiwei's Wukong or Chris Thresh first, buying space for the Callista to be able to get done what he needs to get done. Doggo, though, is playing on a knife's edge right in their faces.
I will say, yes, absolutely. I completely agree with every single thing you just said. You are relatively short-ranged. So now, if you look for a Hail Mary kind of fight, and you go in for the fight, and you try and make it work for you, you might be able to do it, but no, the Fate's call is too good. They'll get themselves a triple onto Doggo, and you know he's going to be looking for a little bit more. They need to deal with Allah on the back end of that fight, but with only Doom being light left alive in a 5v2, there's not really much else you can do.
No, you saw right there, right? If the Scion comes in, you just have other members body block, and then Doggo is just straight chilling. Now gonna be able to push through the base, and we're gonna get 3 games.
We are going to go to the patented 3 games at least once a day on the LPL. As, oh my god, those barrels are disgusting. And yeah, that's going to be about sums up that particular game. A good bounce back for BLG as they tie up this series with LNG.
Hey, if there's a great way to fix my sleep schedule, it's bringing us to 3 games. Good job from BLG. We came in saying, hey, honestly, I just want to see one team step up and stomp the other one. BLG came in strong. Their bot lane especially was huge.